Hello, chat. Welcome out to the stream. We're just doing a casual catch-up Sunday. I thought I'd recap a little bit of our D&D for those who haven't been able to catch up. Along with talking about projects. I've got a new project in my mind's eye that I'd like to work on. Was it there's bits in my mouth? There's not. The lighting makes it there's little pieces on my mouth. I kept feeling like I've got crumbs. I'm good. But I've got some ideas, and I want to kind of baseline, write things down, and kind of give a realistic timeline for when I want to do things. Let me edit this Streamlabs thing, because I think it's meant to be a couple lower. Trademark, thanks so much for the happy 1 year, dude. Yeah, we'll talk about that at 6:30, so in 1 hour from now. Just because I didn't want to do it too early. Because I know some people who are only coming for D&D and stuff might pop in for that, even if they're lurking in the background. But there's a few ideas I got in the works that I want to slowly work on. And I wouldn't mind doing a little workshop today, so maybe we'll build our own subclass or something. How's the first episode of the Mighty Nine? Really good. I actually think, like, even Jinx was like, it's twice as good as the first one. I love Vox Machina. I think Vox Machina is my favorite campaign. It came at like a perfect time. I was in a pretty heavy depression when Vox Machina came out. I was first getting into D&D. It was my like safety net for like finding a little bit of happiness. And I had this show that I was watching every day. When I went to bed, between times, just slapped on episodes of Vox Machina. I was so far behind, and I binge watched that shit. Side monitor, main monitor, you know, for like months on end. So I loved the first campaign of Critical Role. And I love the storytelling beats. I love, you know, big dragons, big vampire. Really fun. Campaign 2, I enjoyed, but I watched it with an ex-partner. And so as soon as you start watching like a D&D campaign with a partner, sometimes when you're not feeling it, you're putting it on anyway. And I wouldn't really be able to concentrate as much. So then because I didn't concentrate on those first, like some of the early episodes, I'd start to lose track. And it was like, I don't really remember anything major. This isn't a spoiler, but I don't even remember what the beacons are for. And it's the main plot line of campaign 2. So I think campaign 2 doesn't mean as much to me in terms of like, you know, didn't hit me at the right time. But I remember it being very good what I did watch. Like the portions I remember. So going into Mighty Nine, I'm kind of going in a little bit fresh. Like I remember some of the names. I'm like, oh, what did they do again? Which is quite fun. But also, just on a storytelling perspective, I see what people mean when they're not into Vox Machina, Legend of Vox Machina, the first few episodes especially. Right? I can see why Jinx wouldn't like it. A lot of the jokes fall flat for me. A lot of the jokes are in-jokes. I don't know if they were written prior to Amazon picking it up, and then they kept them. I don't know. But I didn't love those first few episodes that much. I thought they were fine. They throw you really, into Vox Machina. And the tone is very silly and fun. But I remember enjoying it because it's fun to see this thing that you love animated. But I could see why someone would find it tough. Jinx didn't even really jump into the Briarwoods bit. I was like, okay, it gets better here. But by that point, she'd already didn't really like the characters, so it's hard to like the storytelling in the background. Mostly because she finds the characters a little bit dull. Anything barbecue, ribs, brisket, etc., like a breakfast egg mashup thing. Did you mean to type that in here, JP? Oh, wait, that's your answer to yesterday? That's so crazy. That's good. I like that. JP asked me yesterday off stream chat, what's my favorite thing to make? And I answered like probably like a chicken tikka masala or something like a curry. And I asked him back and he goes, well, I'd probably have to say, and he left the sentence there. Everyone laughed. And he's just like genuinely, maybe that was 12 hours ago. Maybe 13 hours ago. That's brilliant. So I can see why someone might not be into Vox Machina. Mighty Nine starts off a lot more serious. And the characters are a lot more warming. I think they leave a lot more... I think comedy is a really hard thing to write. And I think often when you think of comedy, a group of friends laughing together over their own jokes might not be funny to everyone outside. And I think Vox Machina very much relied on that kind of sense of, we know who they are. Let's just laugh at their jokes. Right? It's the same way someone who comes and like watches our group, Sammy, JP, everyone like that, just playing games together. They might not find it that funny if we're like doing a lot of familiar based jokes, right? I think Vox Machina is a good example, especially in a pre-written show. I think it struggles with a lot of that early on. This show, you don't need to know anything going in. It's drier. The comedy, it can be a little... I mean, in the first episode, there's not really any silly comedy. It's funny, but it takes on a more serious tone. And I think it helps it massively. Because you need to warm to the characters first before you see their funny interactions, right? Jinx still feels like a lot of the characters are a little bit dull so far. You only really meet a few in the first episode. But I think she comes from closer to an anime manga world. And I just think that D&D characters don't really get to that point often. I quite like the characters so far. I think they did a great job of Caleb and Not. So to answer your in a long-winded way, I think Mighty Nine is gonna be very good. Yes, exactly, Gentle. Yeah. She didn't really like Caleb's German accent though, which is fair. I compare it to like when you do a Scottish accent like that, you know. But it's not even that actually. It's more like if I did a Scottish accent like that, like subtle, but it wasn't very good. You know. I'm the same way, PT. So I enjoyed episode 1. Talking of watching things, I saw Fantastic Four's on Disney Plus now. I'm going to finally watch that. See how that was received. So German trailers for right? Yeah. She wasn't impressed by the accent. And Mare movie, I don't have much hope from all my stuff. I think it's ran out of juice. I think the Russo brothers movie, the Doctor Doom movies, will be good, just because I think those two are very, very good. Oh, didn't they? No, didn't I say this last time? And someone said they went off and made a crappy movie. I can't even remember. Relatively well received. I don't know, man. Oh, I know Jinx comes from like a German background. Her mum's very German, so I lean into her skepticism a little bit more than I lean into my own biases. Yeah, it was good. I need to watch Superman too. Yeah, I lean on the side of it doesn't really matter. Like I think I think Caleb might fall into the trap of using German words, which makes it, even if he pulls them off well, makes it clearly German. So you're gonna have more criticism there. I think when Jester gets introduced, she's just Eastern European as an accent form. And I think that's a smarter road to go down, usually when you're doing like an accent, because you can kind of go, yeah, it's kind of based on this, but it's not this. And you can't be wrong. You know what I mean? If you just say, I'm kind of doing Scottish. I'm kind of doing Scottish, but it's based on that, but it's more my own place. They can't judge you because you made that place up. Yeah, trope German more than authentic. Yeah, exactly. That's the smartest way to do it. So, what's going wrong with for a specific language? If you're trying to not get criticized for matching the accent and tone, if you are doing like a, if I was to do, for example, a character that is based off like French, kind of almost like inspired by French, right? Or a French accent, like, oh, I don't care, I will fight to the end. And someone's like, you sound kind of French. You're like, yeah, that's kind of what inspired the character, the French accent, but I kind of made it my own. They can't really have a go. But if I start going like, bonjour, salut, petit bois, then you can directly say I'm doing French. Do you know what I mean? It's not necessarily wrong, but I think that's why it's easy to criticize that accent over Jesters, who's clearly just Eastern European. Germans appreciate being mentioned since we have low national pride, so it's more hyper than she received. That's fair. Yeah, makes sense. I really like Caleb as a character anyway, because of I've always liked the idea of doing a hedge knight, or a hedge wizard in his regard. Quite be inspired, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna change the music up. Lord of the Rings, lo-fi, the classic. Does he an issue? No, there's no issue. There's no issue. But for example, when we're watching Mighty Nine, Jinx doesn't like the accent that Caleb's doing because it doesn't feel German enough for her. It feels like an American doing German. Whereas I don't think she would have picked up on it as much if he wasn't doing German words at the same time. And again, for reference, Jinx's mum is extremely German. She's a born and bred German who lives in the UK, still has a thick accent. So she's lived her whole life around the accent. So I see why she might find it difficult. Yeah, I've wanted. That's actually one of the project things I wanted to talk about in a bit. Yo, Fally, thank you so much, man. Mac, thanks so much for gifting 5 subs, dude. Thanks for pushing us closer to the goal of 800. I appreciate that, man, a lot. It's very kind. Thanks so much for the 5, dude. Thanks for dropping 5 droplets of your blood in there. Fally as well for the 26 months as well. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that, man. It's very kind. All right. I'm writing down some things I was going to talk about in a bit. Okay. Let's do our daily games at the same time as well. And see any trailers that might be out. There's a lot of good shows and stuff coming out soon, right? I do a few of the basic daily games. World of Connections, Faces. Costume and Flicker. We'll do these 5. Okay. We'll slap through these quickly. Warm up the old brain. It's not going to be this, but I just want to make sure I get all the letters in. Okay. It's only those ones. Medic. Okay. Let me try this just to get the letters in the right place. Okay, we've got the L. That means D's got to be rather last or first. Zle? No. E-I-L-E-N-D. Sneed. Could be like this. E-L-D. Wield. Nice. I'm gonna zoom through this one, right? Pedestrian, barcode, tax, railroad, zebra, everyday, school, avenue, rugby shirt, approach, banal, parking, philosophy, humdrum, IBM logo, method. Zebra crossing, railroad crossing, pedestrian crossing, school crossing might be one. Nope. Striped things. Well, a rugby shirt doesn't have to always be striped, though. Or a cat. Philosophy student, school student. No. I mean, these have got to be the same black and white things, right? I don't know what the IBM logo is, but I'm guessing it's black and white. Are they going to say rugby shirts always? Oh, just stripy things. I mean, I guess a rugby shirt is stripy usually. Horizontally. Method. Railroad sign, parking sign. Let's try these. Shit. I'm looking in the words, see if there's anything there. You take a different approach, a different avenue, a different philosophy, a different method. Different. I don't know. Humdrum? Fuck. School? But then the... Okay, I hate this. I thought Monopoly might be on there, but I didn't know there's tax. Stupid ass game anyway. Oh god. Jesus Christ. Mike Myers. I don't know. Oprah Winfrey? Not Oprah. Let's go. She won't be in there. Whoopi. Maybe Whoopi's in there. How the hell did you spell Whoopi Goldberg? There you go. Okay. Vin Diesel? Too Fast, Too Furious. Fast 9, Fast 5. Oh, it's the dude. Oh, God, what's his name? Tyrese Gibson. Him. I'll slap the old headset on. Okay, here we go. It's going to be loud, so... Surfing the radio in 2016. I wasn't surfing the radio in 2016, though. I have no idea what that is. Starboy. Oh. Is that closer? I thought that was Shawn Mendes. You should go and love yourself. Isn't that one? Don't know this. I know, she don't me worry. Alright. Wait. Can't feel my face. The 21 Pilots. YG? No idea. Cake by the Ocean People, but I don't know what they're called. DNCE. Don't know. I thought this was too late to say sorry. No, the other one. I thought it's go. Is it F you yourself? Or just love yourself? Okay. I thought go. A frat party in 2017. If I suck at this one, then I suck at overall. Is it happiness? I just guessed it. Good. Okay, well, he said it. Isn't that literally just the song I was listening to? Okay, that doesn't count. I don't know what it's called though. Mabamba. Is that song? I don't know. Bob. Well, what the hell's it called? Oh, just Jordan. I don't know. Okay, this one's shit. I hate that one. Stupid. I was in a frat. What is with the frat culture in America, by the way, chat? What is with that? That's such a weird culture. Frats and what's the other one? Sororities. What a fucking weird culture that is. I don't know. I mean, that gave me Wayne's World vibes. Wayne's World 2. No, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? Bruce Willis? Is it a Die Hard movie? Die Hard 4. Die Hard. A good gauge to Die Hard. Good gauge to Die Hard. Live Free or Die Hard. Oh, red. I ain't watched this shit. And I don't plan to. It's club culture builds on cult. It's so weird. Okay. Well, let me stick my gum out. I won't talk D&D stuff until like 30 more minutes, chat, because I feel like it's... I said that I'll do that time. I almost landed in a frat when I looked for an apartment with roommates. It would have required me to do fencing against other groups and practice every week for an old tradition. Jesus. Did I miss the news segment? No, it's in the stream time. That's the time. All right. Some Halo news. Well, what's it about? If it's to do with Halo Infinite, I don't think I'm ever going to play that game again in my life. But if it's to do with a new Halo game, I'm in. People banned for an exploit. That's funny. They should ban some people in Arc Raiders, man. I've been playing that, and there's so many people. There's so many goddamn like cheaters and exploiters. I'm making the first one again. Yes. I'm really confused as to why they're doing that. Did you get the hit exploit hidden from Halo Studios? Oh, really? That's funny. So people were doing it. They built a level for it. Yeah, it won't. It's not hackers. It's glitch abusers. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, don't matter to make a new Halo. It's very strange. Yeah, I think they're very, very confused. The old stuff has a lot of good decisions. Yeah. 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 I can get behind that. What other kind of games are about to come out? Is there anything we looked at this recently, right? There's like nothing coming out this year. TV shows wise, we're pretty spoiled for a lot of cool stuff at the moment. But I think the rest of it's just kind of like, eh. I see that Tarkov is on Steam now. That's got mixed reviews. On the lower end. Which is a bit wild. How is Tarkov? Has anyone been playing it? Yeah, Pluribus is very good. Next year's games right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need the game of the year thingy in December to really announce some big games for the next year, but we'll see. Yes, there's a lot of waiting. A lot of waiting. I saw that MMO that like the boys and they've all got paid to play. Apparently that MMO has a transaction in it that's 40 grand. It's like Star Citizen levels. Tarkov never seemed fun to me. It's like a waiting simulator. It was full of cheaters last time I played. I'll admit to that. I don't think it's a waiting simulator though. Tarkov is one of the best shooters ever made. In terms of there's no game that has matched what is essentially the tensest shooter I've ever played in my life. There's no shooter more tense than that. There's very few games more tense than Tarkov. Looting in that game is genuinely thrilling. Questing is shite, but the gunplay is very, very, very intense. And I think I love Arc Raiders. The best season of Tarkov beats all of the other games of that genre for me. It's very good. To the other FPS games, yeah. I try to avoid those games in general, though, level, just because I'm just a big believer of pay your money, and if you want an ongoing MMO, a monthly subscription. Give you all the features, we have a monthly subscription. These ones are, I mean, the Chinese market's very much used to pay to win mechanics slash, you know, buying boosts and whatnot. Sauce isn't making 100 million is insane. Yeah. I mean, the boys say it's a fun game. I just don't. I don't know. That's like a decade in the waiting of just strange happenstance. Sorry, I'm clicking my neck a lot. I mean, RuneScape does WoW. No, WoW has majority of it you can buy. You get with the subscription, but there's so many aesthetics like clothing options and mounts and stuff you have to spend real money on. I don't get tempted. I think I would sooner quit than get tempted. Do you know what I mean? That's my philosophy, but I can see why. Like, if you are wanting to be competitive, you just can't play a lot of those games. Does RuneScape have any microtransactions in it whatsoever? Or is it entirely just the membership fee? If it's just membership, then RuneScape is like the last like holdout of MMOs to do that. Oh, RuneScape 3 is riddled with them, but old school RuneScape's not. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's kind of impressive. Because they could have got away with it. Just some small ones. Buy an in-game money count? Well, what do you need the in-game money for? Oh, as in you can buy from them gold? I don't even think my memberships is that bad. I think monthly fees were fine. Oh, you can, so RuneScape can sell you gold and you can buy it with real money. Oh, okay, that's a microtransaction. That's pretty bad microtransaction. The economy can be built around someone's wallet. Oh, wait, you're saying you can sell the membership though. Okay, so it's not, this is not infinite gold. It is someone's farmed the gold. And you're buying from them, but bots are probably doing it. Okay, it's not as bad. I thought you meant like they just print money for you. I mean, yeah, it's not as bad. That I still consider that a good system then. I miss Diablo 3's raw money auction house. That shit was crazy. That shit was wild. If you could get rid of botting and bring that back, I'd be into it. I'd be into it. Because it's like collecting trading card games, right? Sometimes it's just fun to sell the shit you get. I loved that stuff back then. That was so fun. You can play, what, RuneScape solo without interacting with other players? I think that's not the caveat that makes this okay for me. I think what you need to make it okay is you need to be able to play the game solo and do most of the content. Like, obviously, in like, WoW, I don't think you should be able to do... Well, actually, no, tell a lie. I actually do think you should be able to do raids solo. I'll get onto that. But I think playing the entire game solo and still getting the same shit as everyone else is a good example of, like, microtransactions haven't interfered in that regard. In, like, something like RuneScape. I don't really like the Path of Exile technique of you know, they hide behind the whole, yeah, but you don't need to look good in this game, right? You don't need to look good in this game. Aesthetics don't really matter. Thanks Wednesday for the 7 months. It's adding your blood to the vial. You don't need the aesthetics, but the reality is when you design your game with ugly aesthetics, um, to encourage buying of the real ones, I think that's bad. I do think that's a bad microtransaction. I do think aesthetics and costumes and character design is a massive portion of video game. Hugely. I mean, Dark Souls thrives off its idea of, fashion souls. So I think that's always a bad portion when they hide behind, well, we don't have any ways of winning the game, but we do have microtransactions that make you look good. It's still a bad thing in a game. Unfortunate thing. That's riddled of most video games now. But look good without the MTX and have good options, be earnable. Yeah. That's why I literally just mentioned PoE, Hobo. Yeah, PoE has a bad microtransaction system, I think. It's not the worst, but it's bad. Because I've seen a lot of people hide behind the idea of like, well, yeah, but I'm not close to my character. I'm like, yeah, but I can still see my character. I still support that. See, I don't support any of it. I don't think you should support it. You know why? Because games didn't used to have that. And they don't need to have that. They don't need to have that. It's a way of earning exceptionally more money. Games also weren't free. Yeah, but you're assuming that these games are going free as like so it's like a classic marketing technique to trick you, right? It's going free because they're earning way more money by not selling the game. You know what I mean? They're not going free because they're doing you a favor. These are companies. These are business companies that have literally, they look at you as a customer. They're not your friend. They're not going, hey, we're free to play because we want everyone to try our game. We just want everyone to play. No, they're doing it because they're like, hey, we're free to play because we'll get a larger player base and then we'll be able to encourage those people to want to spend more money on the game. And we valued our game as earning more money by doing that. Free games and don't buy cosmetics. I'll pay $30 and get a game and cosmetics. Yes, but you're losing out because they're not paying $30 because that's not how it works. You end up spending more if you want everything in today's market more than you did in the past. In the past, you'd pay $40 upfront for a game. You'd go into the game. You'd play everything. Everything's accessible. Everything's unlockable. You get everything in the game. That's on them. See, I think you're adding to the problem there because you're basically saying that I'm okay with getting a lesser experience so they can exploit other people. You know what I mean? If you might be okay with the idea of not spending any money at all and just getting like a lackluster experience, it's fair enough, right? It's like going to a restaurant and going, the food's free and they've got it from the fucking, like, they've just given you chicken that's unseasoned and you're just happy with that from now on. You know what I mean? I spent 20, 30 and stop. Yeah, but you still don't get everything with the game. I think you're misunderstanding the main point. When a game used to come out, you pay 40 up front, say. Let's just say 40 is the base value. Obviously, inflation changes things. 40 up front. Every single costume, every single feature of that game, everything inside that game, you got. You got everything. You didn't have to worry. Past that paywall, you are into the entire game. You've got everything you can even see, right? Yes, but Levo, they don't do it in a way that is... You're defending a marketing practice that is literally seeing you as wallets. And I don't understand why you would defend that. It's okay to enjoy an experience and then criticize the way that they sell the game. It's all come from a place where they realize that they earn a lot more money by exploiting people. It's shit. Yeah, like I think PoE is an awesome game, but I think FOMO is a horrible marketing strategy that's riddled our gaming market massively. When games used to have more content, they released an expansion pack. I'm okay with an expansion pack. I'm okay with you holding on to those things and dropping them, or a monthly fee. I think a monthly fee is okay as well, because I think you're still getting everything. But these games don't do a monthly fee because they know that it's easier to market. Psychologically, it's easier to be like, hey, wait a minute. You don't have to pay for anything. But also, I mean, go and look at... here's a great example, actually. Let's see. How much Path of Exile by currency? I've got a feeling, right? I've got a feeling that when you buy currency in PoE to buy items, correct me if I'm wrong on this, because this is how majority of games do it, so I'm just assuming PoE is the same. Say it costs you £10 to get 1,000 points. They'll sell a skin for 1,100. Or they'll sell a skin for 1,300. And they'll say, well, you can buy the 10,000, you can pay 10 plus a 5, or you could just buy 20 and you get the equivalent to 25. Yeah. They do that. Yeah, I can't defend that as an experience. That's entirely designed to overspend and trick the spender into thinking they're not spending as much money because time passes by and it's easier to forget about it. It's just a bit exploitative. It's a bit exploitative, and it sucks that our games are riddled with that kind of marketing nowadays. And there's very few. There's very few games that have the integrity anymore to not do it. I get that you're adding new stuff. We should pay for the new stuff. I agree. But I do think a monthly fee and stuff is better than that. Yes, you've got to pay more to get value from it. Exactly. Yeah, they're all designed like that. I mean, if they were designed in a fair manner, I'd be into it. Yeah, PoE still storage space. That's bad as well. There's almost always just enough currency left over after purchasing things. Yes. It just sucks. It's just one of those things that genuinely it's just a shitty experience. What's up, man? What's up, Toss? Thanks so much for the 33 months. It's just one of those kind of like, you know what I mean? It's the gaming market nowadays. What do you think about games that let you buy the currency with the anyone gain currency? Do you give rewards? It just takes grinding game. I've not yet found an experience which is an acceptable grind for it. I still think it's a shitty thing. I think that should be a standard that they do. But a lot of the time is they will design the grind to be so obnoxiously slow. And they use it as a safety net. Well, hold on. You don't have to buy our stuff. You can earn it in-game. And then you cut to the person earning it in-game, and they're only playing that game for weeks on end, grinding it constantly just to get to that point. And you're like, well, no, but you can earn it in-game. And you're like, well, okay. But when, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're saying to this person, you can earn it by going and working for an hour, and then you can earn it by climbing Mount Everest, it's kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, you're not really doing any favors. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that's riddled our game market. I just... there's an alternate reality where things are more fair when it comes to valuing in-game items. I don't have a system in mind, a perfect system in mind. I do think you shouldn't just pay the entry fee and that be it. Yeah, I agree, you know. As a business, yeah, 100% it makes sense. It just sucks that we've gone down that road with video games. And of course we would. I mean, they're trying to earn the most money they can. And I do think there's games, you know, Baldur's Gate 3, exception to the rule. I don't think that can work for every game. However, I do think if you do that kind of style of marketing now, where you just say you get everything if you pay it once, I do think it wins you a lot of favor. I think there's a reason people love Hades. I think there's a reason people love Baldur's Gate 3 and games like Expedition 33 and all these other games which have been kind of just giving you everything for your money. Or a better example would probably be stuff like BG3. There's probably dozens more examples out there, but they always have good credibility because of it. Also feels bad if you can't get something because you got to pay a huge amount of money for it. Yeah, it sucks, right? My biggest hatred one is when people talk about, I don't care about cosmetics. Because I do. I'm not one of the people that goes and chills out a bunch of money. Sometimes I'll buy it. If I really like the game, I'll go and buy a costume in it. But I think I would like my character to look cool. Because if I'm just playing a game, if I'm playing an RPG and I don't care about the look of the character, why am I playing an RPG? Like, for me, it's a massive thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that, it's as important as the gameplay. My character's looks. If I was forced to play a little gremlin ass fucking ugly character and I can't play what I want to play, but I go through a story, I'd probably have less want to go through the story. By the way, we'll talk D&D in about 10 minutes. I just wanted to wait for... I literally said it's 6:30 my time, which is in 13 minutes. So I didn't want to dive into it too early. A character artist too. That makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Does you have tons of things? Yeah. And it's, I don't know. Now, I will say the worst business practice, the worst one that has come out in recent years, and I can't think of anything worse than this one. Because all of these ones are bad, right? It's a scale of really, it's all bad, right? It's all bad. At the moment, we're building a mountain of problems, right? The first hill, you're like, oh, I can get over that. It's a bit of a struggle. I'll get over it. It's getting worse. The worst one, the peak right now, is the pay-to-play games early one. That's awful. That's the worst one. The time gating of game, you know, pay $100 versus $60, and you get to play 4 days early. But those 4 days are designed to be the Friday instead of the Monday. Is just fucked. That's the worst thing in gaming now, and so many games have adopted that. Yes, exactly. It's not pay to play early. It's don't pay early, you play late. Exactly. But it's before now. They just straight up tell you it's early access. Yeah, it's true. It's rough. The whole on games where it doesn't matter either. So it all means you get spoiled. Otherwise, yes, exactly. Because it's for the FOMO of it, right? Because like you can be like, oh, I don't, you know, I'm okay with waiting. But we live in a world now where it's so easy to get spoiled. Dispatch, I am so glad that I played that on release. That game has spoilers all over Twitter. Everywhere I was going, there's spoilers. I mean, people in Twitch chats and shit. It's so hard to avoid spoilers and whatnot nowadays. Right, lying about release dates for extra money. Yeah, that's my least favorite practice. You can't see the actual price. That's true. Yeah. I just think this one's the egregious one because it's targeting the FOMO of the working class person. So shitty. Or we progressed too far. I thought the craziest one for me was WoW. When WoW did that, it blew my mind. Because World of Warcraft has a very competitive scene about being like server first for your profession, server first for dungeons and raids. And to do that was wild. That was crazy. I couldn't believe they did that one. I get it, you know, in a single player game, it's shitty. But in a game where there's actual like competitive progression, you're basically just saying, hey, you're kind of forced to do this if you care about any of your progression that you've been competitive and supported the game for years. Would you say single player games can I pay to win them? I mean, I wouldn't like any of the games to have anything in them, right? You could. I mean, pay to win kind of refers to PvP for me in a sense, not just PvP necessarily, but online games. Like it's shitty if someone can pay to get past a whole grind that you're stuck on for a long time. So you know, even if you're playing like a multi one, I think to an extent. I think it's because I mean, you know, I wouldn't necessarily call it pay to win. Pay to skip almost. You know what I mean? I guess so. I guess so. It's not as egregious, but it's still egregious, you know. That WoW release raids at different times at EGA. I find that so stupid. That's such a strange thing to me because it's like that's such a strange thing in the competitive market. Why do they do that? I guess because of time zones, but still, fuck, the whole race is the world first. It's so weirdly designed. Also, by the way, I do think on World of Warcraft and other MMOs like this, I don't know if other ones do it, but I'm a big believer that you should be able to play WoW on your solo. I get that it's a social MMO. I think they should bring out a story mode raid system because who cares? Do you know who cares? Who cares if these people do this? You don't get gear from it, right? Or you can get the middling gear, the lowest gear if you want. But a way to just go like single player into the newest raid and it gives you like your own raid party of NPCs and you get to do all the boss fights on like the easiest way to do it. Yeah, they've done that with dungeons. I don't think they've done it with raids yet. Have they done it with raids? It's cool if they have. But yes, you get to do some. Is it all dungeons now? I don't know how it works, but that would be really cool for raiding. Oh, they put that in. That's cool if they put that in. I didn't realize. When you get super powerful weapons for microtransactions and make the game easier for you. Yeah, oh, dude, that one of the stupidest gaming systems that's ever happened is when you pre-order a game and it gives you a pre-order bonus and they actually have stats on them instead of skins. That shit is crazy. And then you're like, I kind of want to use the pre-order things that looks cool, but then it's just going to make everything easy. That's so stupid. And then also when they make the skins so much more epic than the level you're at, right? Like in an RPG, when you're playing, you go in and you play stand. You're wearing like rags. You know, you've just come off a shipwreck, and your character's wearing rags. You fight your way through basic monsters like, you know, drowner like zombies on the shoreline. And it feels like you're just this new adventurer starting their journey. And then you open up the pre-order pack, and it gives you the greatest glowing pauldrons of a paladin with the symbol of the video game and the company behind it on your chest. And then you've got a massive golden sword, and you're like, people are like, oh, how's the shipwreck? And it cuts to you standing like, it's so stupid. You're like, I don't want to wear this now. It's stupid. Kids down low on the pre-order gear, stayed with you until halfway into the game. That's crazy. I hate the opposite, where you get entry pre-order and they're so bad you literally never use them. Yeah, see, I didn't know about the Final Fantasy remake doing that. That sucks. Yeah, just give us skins, man, but give us skins that progress. That'd be lovely. Okay. All right, in 5 minutes we'll talk D&D, projects, all that good stuff. Things to come. Because there's no Sunforge tonight, chat. That's why I'm doing a little bit of a workshop, a little chat session. Because we've got... Sam was already only going to be able to play for a couple hours because he's got a big sponsor. But that was okay. And then Bree couldn't make it. So I was like, okay, we'll hold off. Because there's big stuff to happen in the next few weeks on Sunforged. And I'll also talk about... Hold on. Let me talk about... I'll save this because in case people come in. Otherwise, we've also got 5 minutes, chat. What you guys been up to? What's coming out soon? Are you guys excited by anything? Any shows, games, films? We've been playing a lot. I've made a Discord for the boys to play, like, for everyone just to group up in different games. Right now, it's mostly been used for Arc Raiders, but some League as well. And everyone's all just hanging out in it, playing games last night. It was really cute. It's cool. Because it's just fun to hang out with everyone whilst doing stuff. We're doing a lot of Arc Raiders whilst the group was playing League, etc. It was just good times. Also, chat, I'll discuss the concepts I've got in mind for the next Choose Your Own Adventures. I'm going to do some soon. Comic project? That's awesome. Publish an anthology. That's very cool. Fallout Season 2 is coming out next month. Yes. I'm excited for that. Because it's got house in it and whatnot, right? Seeing New Vegas is going to be really interesting. You working in UE5? House MD, yep. Yep, they're throwing House... That'd actually be sick. Just throw the character House in there, he survived. You find out Fallout's all in the House universe. Yeah, they call him Lupus in the field. Do you think... Oh, no, it's set after Fallout New Vegas, isn't it? Man, because you know who would be in it if they were still alive today would be Matthew Perry. I know his character technically dies, but they could just make that non-canon. Oh, does he always die? I don't know if Benny always dies, actually. He'd have been great, right? If they kept... Oh, that'd been great. That'd been so good. He can escape. Oh, that'd been so good, man. What a shame. That'd been awesome to see him in it. How much of the actual game and all the following? Yeah, I wonder what they're going to put in. Because they've got the... Because Legion are around and House are around, yeah. And they've also got the dinosaur, right? Where you meet the other dude. What's his name? Bane? Bale? Some shit? I'll give him an N. Boone. Boone. How do I forget? Yeah, they've got that little dinosaur place in. So I'm excited. It's going to be good. Lots of references. Should be fun. I've been reading through the World of Ice and Fire book, which is like the big Game of Thrones anthology book. Or not anthology, it's more background world building. And the first half of it was really good. Building up the Targaryen line, telling you about how each of them like ruled and stuff was really cool. It was really inspiring for writing. I've now just got to the section where they're describing all of the zones, like the Riverlands, the Reach, and stuff, and it's kind of boring. I'm kind of skimming it now. I'm like, yeah, I don't care. But I think I'm going to pick up some more Brandon Sanderson soon. Try and read back through those, and then pick up more fantasy in general. Novak was a great place in the game. Is that where that is? Novak? Seeing this one, it'd be cool to see some things in live action anyway. All right, I'll change up the title. We're going to talk some Dungeons and Dragons stuff, chat. Dungeons and Dragons. Okay. So, let me just slap on some background fantasy music. And we'll just chill. So, there's no Sunforge tonight, but I also wanted to talk about some of the other like projects and stuff and like the year of planning and what's coming up soon. There's some new stuff in here that you've probably never heard of. But also, if you guys have ever got any questions about the background of running the D&D show, or if you've got any question about talking about when wins meet, no, I've got really no interest in playing a MMO which has that much microtransaction in it. If you've got any questions about the running of it, any of the show storylines, both Big Bad Evil Gang and Sunforged. If you've got any questions, like in general there, I'll answer them in this. We'll kind of talk very openly about the story. If we... And then I'll also talk about some of the shows I've got kind of planned, along with a couple of D&D based ones and some other projects I kind of want to work in. No, there's no plans for these other projects yet, but just things that I'm feeling out in the air. But yeah, so no Sunforge tonight, but to give you guys a general rundown, if you guys have ever watched Big Bad Evil Gang, but you've never watched Sunforge because it's too far in. Sunforge is our ongoing trilogy series, I should say. I want to do 3 campaigns in the world. This is the second one. Stands alone as its own story, but they all have some interconnective stories across the different continents. In this one, it very much follows a group who are trying to hunt down these vaults, which keep the children of old gods in them contained, and they have to prevent them from getting out. There's a really cool thing that's about to happen, which is they're heading up to a vampire tournament, and I made the compound for it yesterday. So I might show you guys that, because you guys can get a little hint, a little sneak preview of it. have you ever used AI for D&D? Like AI art? Once. Right when AI art first came out, and we didn't realize just the extent of what it was doing. I used it very briefly at the beginning, and then we found out, and I stopped. And put little messages on those ones saying, nope. Used it to make a couple of, like, when I was just having basic NPCs, I threw a couple of those in there. Tournament or friendly sports competition? Yes, it's going to be reminiscent of your kind of medieval or feudal tournaments, I should say. Feudal, closer than accurate. Jousting, melee, a hunt. Yes, exactly. Yeah, digital, yeah. Ballrooms and feasts, stuff to do around the castles and whatnot. I'll show you a little sneak preview of I'll show you a little sneak preview of my thing. This is where they're heading. I used Incarnate to make this, so it took me a little while yesterday. This is Misthearth, which is the next section of the Sunforge campaign. An area in the cold north. An old stonework buildings and ruins nearby, and very Viking-like territory with vampires and whatnot to rule. Looks freezing, yes. Yes. Warmed only by the blood of vampires. Yeah, it's lots of fun stuff. It's kind of there's an unnatural fog that they've put across the skyline to prevent the sun from gleaming down into them, so they can remain here in the darkness. So it's ever night here, and should be a pretty fun one. Should be a pretty fun place for the group to explore. So that's the next section they're going to in that campaign. With Brett as our guest throughout the whole journey there. I should also say for Sunforged, they kind of voted on this, right? Or at least a few of them did, and I'll take the majority vote because it seems fairest. I'm going to be upping the difficulty. They agreed to it. I'm going to be upping the difficulty so that each fight can be dangerous. There's a dangerous thing to do here, which is I don't want to make it sound like local bandits or an owlbear. It's scary. It doesn't make sense. If you suddenly fought, massive creatures and dangerous beings and Goliath-sized fucking monsters, why would a group of bandits be a threat? So there'll be some things which will just be cannon fodder, but I might just turn those into more of a descriptive moment, right? But actual fights are going to be crazy. How do you balance difficulty where it's playable but not personal? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I think it's just playing around, testing it. It's better to lean on the side of a little bit weaker and then up from there, because if you go too hard, you're going to kill or fool your players. But if you keep just slowly increasing, which you might have noticed recently, if some of the abilities have slowly increased, then you'll get to a point where you feel like there's balance. I think I've got a general idea of how much damage each player can take, along with some crazy mechanics I'm going to put into it. And we're just going to see. It's mostly going to be the boss fights and certain encounters, which will be very much increased. The blood tournament will be hard. There's going to be some draining mechanics, no pun intended. There's going to be some powerful creatures there attending, and they're going to have to use their resources wisely. I think people will go down in most boss fights a couple times. and it'll be a little bit more of a struggle, because I think that's the point where I want to get to. The hardest thing in D&D is actually magical items. I don't think are balanced. I think magical items are the one thing. I think if you play D&D without magical items, you can just follow most of the creatures in the monster manual, up their health a bit, and you you're kind of fine, right? Like, that's a very good difficulty. But magical items really boost character design, and it's fun to make magical items, and you want to make them worthwhile and actually exciting to pick up. So that's what's boosted my characters the most, is the magical items they hold on to are powerful. So I think that's going to get now counteract is there's going to be a bigger monsters, scarier monsters, and some pretty haunting fights is what is going to come soon. Crazy high to turn the boss, yeah, exactly. Couldn't worry about above an 8 almost one counter. Yes, yeah, sometimes that happens. That's the toughest thing. So yeah, that's all going to get turned up difficulty-wise. Big Bad Evil Gang going to remain just a funny comedy one with probably not hard combat at all, unless they do anything ridiculously stupid. We're kind of trying to keep it fun and light. What Big Bad Evil Gang's allowed me to do as well, chat, is separate like the friends I invite to different campaigns, because some people are just going to way more enjoy that world than they would Sunforged. So Radicalism's great. So that's going on there. So yeah, I think you're going to enjoy some of the boss fights that come up from. I think the next few episodes of Sunforge will be really good. I'm going to set up this whole tournament area of Mist Hearth to be quite scary, and it should be a pretty exciting time to watch. If it's your first time viewing Sunforged, I'd say come and try it out, because it's going to be a unique little story that told there. With some interesting characters and interesting fights for sure. Other things on the agenda at the same time is I might have finally convinced. This is no planning whatsoever. There's no. I have one general idea of what I might make them do. I'm going to have a very short. I've got one of my short campaigns ideas already kind of established. I already had one in the works, which is slowly. I've just invited a couple of people, which is a Sunforge prequel series following the those children who grew up to basically be possessed by death, order, all of the Sun children. That's something I'm getting some more veteran D&D players in. I won't say any who until we kind of confirm the list and get things on the roll. But I'm hoping that's going to be coming up soon after the horror one shot. That story is going to be a pretty intense one, pretty fun. I've got a Big Bad Evil Gang mini spin-off, few episodes long series I want to do, maybe 3 or 4 episodes. And it's going to be if they keep to their word. I mean, a few of these don't know it's happening, but they'll join, because I know them. They'll join. But I convinced the main one that was always nervous about it, which is Chief. I think I'm going to get a little game going with Chief, Sput, Bed, Shrimp, and Jason, and probably Maddie if I can. Throw that group together, because they're very comfortable with each other, and have them play their own like 3 or 4 episode long Big Bad Evil Gang spin-off, like doing a little damage around the world somewhere, playing their own monsters for fun stuff. Can't wait for the Forged short campaign. Yeah, Forged. So that'd be a fun one if I can get those guys all together. That's something I was literally just talking to them about last night, and I was like, look, if there's a setting you guys would enjoy, because then Chief was always nervous about it, right? I said, if there's a setting you guys would enjoy, it'd be Big Bad Evil Gang, because you can do whatever the hell you want. I haven't really told them what that's about, but I'm thinking it might be a campaign set beyond the Good Wall, a revolution to attack the Good Wall, if I could. So that should be fun. What else? The horror one shot. I've got 4 people in. I'll tell you who those 4 people are now, because I think they're all confirmed. I just need a 5th. I would like a 5th. It might not need 5. We could do it with 4, but I think 5 is a nice number for D&D and related TTRPGs. The 4 that I've got involved are Murder Crumpet, Dex Bonus, Shrimp, and Lawman. I want to find one more, but I think all of those 4 are going to enjoy the horror setting and play characters there. Smile will be the 5th. That should be a fun one. That should be fun. So that's soon. I just need to find the 5th, and then I will get that campaign rolling. I say campaign, that one shot rolling as soon as I can. I need to work out what I want to do for the ship design and also the UI, etc. of our screen, the overlay. But that is something to come. That's probably soon. Same with some of the other shows outside of TTRPG stuff. The tier list for the gamer tier list, I think I might do it towards the end of this month. So that's coming soon. And then I might bring back Benchmark Battle. Or bring out Benchmark Battle, which is the 1v1 game show I wanted to run against friends. I wanted to bring in like a little kind of game show based thing where we have friends play off against each other in games and me shoutcasting over it as well. So I'm probably going to start to do that soon because I think that'd be easy to get done. So that's that will be hopefully by the end of the year. We'll might have some plans for that, but talking about the end of the year, I'm going to do a Snail Blazers Christmas special. I'm considering it to be Skyrim because of the snow. But it comes with little challenges as opposed to the story. We'll see. I think that might be a good one to do because most people own Skyrim. But a Snail Blazers Christmas special would be fun. Because we haven't done that in a while. And then the last things, which are very, very early in my brain, but I'm considering working on, I would like to release a D&D book at some point. The D&D books I would like to work on, 2 separate ones entirely. One is a novel. I'm going to start to plan out and write a novel in the coming couple of years, set in the Godforge world, Godforge continent, I should say, in the Sunforge setting, etc. Decades before, lots of stuff happening. I'm going to start to work on that at some point soon. That'll be something you guys will see come out whenever it's done. That might take me a few years. The other thing that I would actually like to do, though, is and I've been meaning to do one for years, is Sunforge Smart. Yeah. I would like to release my own module, my own TTRPG book, which you can apply like stuff in. And I wanted to do a monster book for ages. There was a time where we nearly wrote a Godforge book, but the people I was working with we all just lost contact and we didn't really work on it. I don't know what goes into making the module books. I have friends that obviously do it, like Brett. So I'm going to ask around and see. But I would like to make a boss monster book. Because there's something that I always do when I read through D&D. And that is, sometimes I find bosses cinematic. I think boss fights are really fun to do. They're really fun to plan. I always write so many of them in D&D in general. But it's one of those things where, like, you don't have that many until late game in Dungeons and Dragons. You don't have many legendary creatures until much later in the game. And I get why. It's to try and push back against the power scale of the players. But I do think there's room for a lot of legendary creatures in the early stages. It's just that legendary actions need to be balanced around at those early stages. They can't just be big dice rolls. So I've thought about making a legendary book. And making it about essentially just creatures from like CR1 legendary up till CR25, you know. A few hundred monsters in a book with stat blocks that teach you how to turn them into boss fights. A whole few pages on legendary actions if you're panicking you need to add them to a monster. Along with my legendary resistance design where it actually helps the players as well. I want to make a monster boss book, or boss monster book, I should say. So that's something I want to slowly work on, and maybe I'll workshop some of them on stream, or maybe during our next Choose Your Own Adventure, I will feature. I'll put some of the goals as like, you know, we hit this many subs. The chat gets to choose what the monster type is and the kind of style, and I'll go and design it into a boss fight. And then we clean them up before the books. But that's the kind of general gist of all of the projects that I wanted to talk about that I'm working on, with some little mini announcements thrown in there. For those, I just wanted to kind of get a little tick box instead of taking 2 days off in a row and tell you guys about some of that stuff. But yeah, that's the general thing. So lots of stuff, right, Beali? Yeah, I think that'd be really fun to work on. I think a boss monster book would be really fun to work on. I think it'd be a big challenge, but you know, we know artists as well, like Sushi, Lorfi, and whatnot, who I'd love to work with that. If we can get it off the thing, you know, because I don't really know how you make money on those books. I don't know how much of it goes into the cost of production, etc. I'd have to look into all of that. But if it's something I can go basically like, hey, artists, you take this percentage, I'll take the percentage of you know, that we share out percentages, and I'll do all the writing, you do all the drawing, we work together, we earn a bit of money together, and we release something that we can be proud of equally. It'd be really cool as a big project. So yeah, that's kind of the general gist. So in a nutshell, Sunforge difficulty rising, spin-off Sunforge show slowly in the works, slowly casting, one-shot horror coming out soon. Big Bad Evil Gang might get its own little mini spin-off for a few episodes soonish as well. I can start to get that working. Snail Blazers Christmas one-shot, the gamer tier list soon with the benchmark battles, and then potentially a novel, potentially a book in the behind the scenes. So lots of stuff on the plate, man. I want to do a lot of things with limited amount of time, so we'll get there one little bit at a time. Jamila, thank you so much for the 18 months. Big old plate, yeah. We'll see. But it should be a good, fun time. So that's basically it. In terms of just D&D stuff, I was going to do a little bit of a workshop today, but I think I'll be honest with you, because it was kind of an impromptu stream. I don't really want to fuck up my averages too much by doing a workshop for us today. I want to kind of hold off until we're maybe, you know, during a stream this week we'll do something more. But yeah, hopefully, because I do think my content's very much waiting for each of my shows to begin, right? So when we take a day off, it's kind of like, what do I do now? I think it'd be nice to get another third thing going, and soon. So yeah, lots of stuff to come. If you've got any questions about any of the shows, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to kind of just discuss it, keep the little hype going. And I'm hoping the one-shot horror will be soon. I'm just trying to find that 5th at the moment. In fact, I think I might. I might try and get that kind of casted soon, and then we can get it. We can get it going. That's it. This week of streams, I'm not entirely sure what is out. We might do more of that queue up game. We might do some more tier listing and stupid shit like that. Some just fun, chill stuff to take a break from all of the games. I might do some more D&D based work and whatnot. But I think it's going to be a slow couple of weeks in terms of releases. So we'll just see what comes out. We'll try, oh, Jesus Christ, Steam. I just saw that Stuck Together game's coming out soon. So I guess I'll flick through a bunch of the different games that are coming out, and we'll see what we want to play. Otherwise, thanks everyone for coming out. I'll leave it there, and I'll be back tomorrow for a normal stream. No Sunforge again this week, so remember, we'll be back next week with it. It's going to be a pretty dangerous time, the next section they're diving into, so come see that. All right, thanks everyone for